Joining us now is American civil rights lawyer Lisa Bloom, who's representing other Epstein victims like Virginia. Also here, former head of Royal Protection Di Davis. Welcome to both of you.
Well, thank you.
I'm going to start this with the statement from Buckingham Palace, who have said the Duke unequivocally regrets his ill-judged association with Jeffrey Epstein and deeply sympathises with those affected who want some form of closure. Said it is emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual contact or relationship with Virginia Roberts. Any claim to the contrary is false and without foundation. What did you think of the documentary last night?
Well, Virginia is right. Someone is not telling the truth because she says very clearly that Prince Andrew abused her and he denies it. So let's look at the surrounding evidence. I think she came across last night very credible. She admits to some inconsistencies. I know in my 30 years of representing victims and representing many today that it is very common, in fact, more common than not, that a victim will make some mistakes when she finally comes forward because of the denial and the shame and trying not to believe it happened for so many years. And then when you have to remember, you are going to make some mistakes. And what's important is that she admits that now. Prince Andrew, on the other hand, came across as not credible, telling stories that made no sense, like he had to go to New York for 4 or 5 days to, as Virginia said, break up with Epstein, that he doesn't sweat. And, you know, a lot of things that really don't add up.
She also was essentially calling upon the British public to sort of stand behind her in a way, essentially against a member of our own royal family. What did you think of that, please?
That was so poignant and heartbreaking to me, because I think she has to know that the public wants to stand with Prince Andrew. But all of this media coverage is so important, and I salute you for doing it, because victims need public support. For too many years, this has all been swept under the rug. Powerful men could do whatever they wanted. It's only now that people are starting to be believed. Yes.
You say that you are in contact with another woman who claims to have been at Tramp nightclub.
Yes, so I'm letting you know now for the first time really publicly that I am representing a witness who says she was there that night in 2001. She saw Prince Andrew with Virginia. She remembers it vividly because she was told this is a member of the royal family. That was a very big thing to her. She was shocked, and she saw Virginia there with him. And so I'm going to take her to the FBI. They can investigate her claims. And I call on other witnesses to come forward. Now is the time. People are in fear, of course, of a powerful member of the royal family, but women have to stand with other women.
So what should Prince Andrew do next? I mean, you want him to cooperate, understandably.
Yes.
Would you like his staff to come forward as well and give full statements?
So let's put those words into action, Prince Andrew. You've said that you're going to cooperate. Let's do it. Don't make us subpoena you. Don't make law enforcement chase you around. Come to the U.S., sit down with the FBI and with victims' attorneys like myself and answer questions. And yes, not just answers, but give us the documents, the calendars, the journals, all of the information that's customarily turned over in investigations like this. And have your staff who travel with you, who are your security, who have eyes and ears, have them answer questions as well.
So if you got a phone call today, would you be in a position to go and speak to him now?
I'm here in London. I'm happy to do it. Let's do that.
Di, the problem with these sort of cases, retrospective cases, is you want a body of evidence, you want proof. And at the moment we have these two photographs. There must be people somewhere, I would have thought, because your job as former head of Royal Protection, Chief Superintendent of the Metropolitan Police, police officers write things down.
Well, you're quite right.
Where's the written proof here?
Well, I'm sure some proof is there, but let's start with the premise that Andrew is innocent until that evidence is found. I share my friend's appeal, if you like, that anyone, irrespective whether you're a policeman, a courtier, whoever, if you've got material evidence, then come forward, either to attorneys like Lisa or go to the FBI or even go to Scotland Yard. And there are a lot of questions to be asked about Scotland Yard, by the way.
Well, with the beginnings of the start of some sort of investigation by the CPS, but nothing really ever went from there.
As somebody, as I said last week on your programme, I've been doing this for 50-odd years. So unless you start a proper investigation with experienced detectives who gather the foundation of any inquiry or any suspicion or any allegation, as we have a plain allegation here against two British subjects. One of them happens to be a prince. The other one, Maxwell, is not a prince, but she is a material to this whole case.
Back to that first question, though. Just explain the security that would have been in force, in place, around the prince at those times?
Well, he would have had 24/7 security. Where he lived at that particular time would have been protected by an uniformed constabulary, Surrey police, I believe, at that time, if we're talking late 90s, early 2000. And accompanying him would have been officers from what was known then as SO14 Royalty Protection. They are very, very experienced officers. I had absolute faith in all of them, and there were several hundred of them in total. Each royal senior has a 24/7, both in this country and abroad. So somebody must know whether this is true or not true. And it's a simple question to ask them, I would have thought.
It is a simple question. And Lisa, this was something that you've asked in the past as well, that you've got all of these people around Epstein and no one was sort of questioning this predatory behaviour.
And the victims since 2005 have been speaking out and saying that he was taking advantage of them, victim after victim. And Prince Andrew had to know in 2009 when he got on a plane and went to New York and stayed with his friend Jeffrey Epstein for 4 or 5 days, just after Epstein had gotten out of prison for sexual misconduct. So, you know, I don't think Andrew's story really makes any sense. As Virginia said last night, he had to break up with him in person.
And so what sort of conclusion have you drawn? Why do you think he went?
Well, I think the only reasonable explanation is he wanted to go have a private conversation with him to get his story straight, right? Are you going to throw me under the bus, or are you going to stand by me? Are you going to disclose what I did?
Once again, we have to state that, that the palace and Prince Andrew have said that he is not guilty of any wrongdoing.
And I appreciate that. I also want to add, though, that Prince Andrew, even into 2019, was friendly with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, I would like to ask about her. Where is she?
That's a good question. She was in Los Angeles having coffee. She's a free woman right now. I hope the FBI is investigating. But as Di points out, I mean, I think the FBI in the US and Scotland Yard in the UK don't seem to be doing very much to investigate the enablers.
She seems to be the key here because Epstein is dead.
Yes.
And Prince Andrew has made his statement on television so far.
Yes.
What about her? Well,
as I keep saying, if you don't investigate the allegation and question, as you've said, those material witnesses, you will never find evidence. And of course, as I keep saying, he's innocent, but it's the victims I care about passionately, and I always have done. So what I'm saying is, if he is as honourable as he said twice in that actual programme, then do the honourable thing. Go with a lawyer, go and be questioned and put the story straight. But also, if you've got real alibis as to where you were, what you were doing, bring them forward. He's had years to prepare for that car crash, and that's the best they can do.
And let's talk about the financial records, as you've pointed out, right?
Well,
the
again,
financial records would be very revealing.
It'd be very interesting whether the FBI are pursuing any issues regarding was he in debt to him? Was his ex-wife in debt? There are all manner of questions. And I think I said last week, if you've got half an hour, I can go through at least 20 key areas. I, as a former police officer, now an international investigator, I would want to drill down to, because there are so many questions. If you really want to know, do I believe him on most of them? No, I don't.
Once again, we have to say that he's denied any wrongdoing. Buckingham Palace has confirmed the Duke of York is not immune from prosecution. The Queen has sovereign immunity from civil or criminal prosecutions. It does not extend to all of the members of the royal family.
I'm glad to hear that, because no one should be above the law. Our president is currently being investigated in the US. No one in the world should be above the law.
Thank you both.
OK, thank you
very much.
Thank you.